Hi everyone. I am here to talk about success, sustainability of success, sacrifice, selflessness, professional growth, and profit, especially if you're an entrepreneur or business owner. So, I was recently having this conversation with a fellow entrepreneur who has a business mentor, and their goals tend to have some friction. They don't always align. So the individual's professional goals are not aligning with the business mentor's goals because the focus is so often on let's hit this goal, let's set this goal. It needs to be focused only on profit and basically nothing else matters. Now, this particular conversation got my gears turning and got me on my soapbox because I've had a version of this kind of conversation with so many business owners, so many leaders, so many entrepreneurs, especially women, particularly women, where there is this mindset, especially in the business coaching world, where it's like set a goal, focus only on that goal, nothing else, act as if that is the only thing that matters, push yourself really hard to get to that goal, and then you're going to be successful. That's one way of it. That's one end of the spectrum. And then there's this other end of the spectrum, which people tend to call woo-woo, which is like, oh, just envision what you want and keep envisioning it, and then it's going to come true. Neither of those extremes is accurate, but there are truths in each of them. And here's why. If we are focused only on goals, only on profit, as being the measurement of success, to the point where nothing else can be prioritized, to the point where we set the precedence. And what I mean by setting the precedence is something like this. Okay, I have this goal, and I need to hit this goal in order to make X amount of dollars for the business. And so I'm going to push myself really hard to hit this goal. I'm going to do whatever it takes. That means I'm going to sacrifice time with my family. I'm going to neglect the mental and emotional health needs that I have, because who has time for that anyway, right? So I'm going to put those to the side. I'll come back to it once I hit my goal. But for right now, I need to focus on hitting my goal, right? And so I'm going to focus on hitting my goal. I'm going to put that other stuff to the side. And, I don't know if I'm going to have time to like hang out or have fun. For now, I'm just going to put that over there too. I'm just going to focus on my goal. And so I hit the goal, right? I've just sent a dopamine burst into my body, into my brain, right? And it's like, this feels good because I hit my goal. I did the thing. Now, if I set another goal, which I have to because I just hit this goal, and the only way for me to be successful is to set another goal and hit that goal, I have to do the same thing. I've set the precedence of the kind of lifestyle, behavior, and mental practices that I need to put into play in order to become successful. And that requires that I push myself, neglect some other things in my life that really matter to me in order to hit that goal. And I have to keep doing that because that is the way I hit goals. And hitting goals is the way I become successful. And becoming successful is what means I've made a lot of profit and I've done the thing and I've accomplished a lot and I've achieved a lot, right? That creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of constant goal setting, constant goal hitting, and not a sense of fulfillment. Yes, the success looks like success outwardly, but inwardly, because of the precedence that has been set that is required for hitting those goals, what happens is that now you are essentially living your life. You've created a lifestyle that requires you to keep doing that endlessly. Where is the space for fulfillment in that? Where is the space for joy in that? Only when you hit the goal? Then you got to keep setting goals and you got to keep hitting them. And honestly, most of life is made up of the in-between. The things that we experience between this goalpost and this goalpost, most of life is made up of this in-between the goalposts. So do we really want to set that precedence? Do we really want to create that kind of lifestyle? I don't think so. But the hustle and grind culture tells us that we should, because that's how we pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and move forward, right? Here's the truths in this. Goals are great. I love goals. In fact, I had like 5 and 10 and 15-year goals that I had set in my life from being a teen to becoming 30, and I hit every single one of them. I like goals. They're great to have. But you know what happens after you hit all of those goals and there's no more goals for you to set? What? I don't know. Right. I didn't feel fulfilled. I was like, I hit all my lofty goals and yet I'm not feeling fulfilled. So what's next? I guess I have to make another goal in order for me to have something to look at. But what about like life, experiencing life in the meantime? And so the truth is we want to take out that goals can be good, right? Goals are good. Goals are not bad. They're not inherently bad. They are good. And they are not the pure measurement of success. They are not what is going to bring you that sense of fulfillment. They are not. So goals can be good, but they will not be fulfilling. They are not your source of fulfillment, okay? So that's that extreme here. And then we have the other extreme, the woo, what people call the woo-woo extreme. And that is, I'm just going to envision it and wish for it and want for it, and it'll just appear. And that is not true, right? If we sit and do nothing and take no action, and we don't notice when we feel a spark of inspiration and then follow that inspiration, then we, in essence, have the dominoes. You know the dominoes when you set them up in a line? Boop, 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 boop. It's like, okay, maybe the dominoes have set themselves up because we have connected with God, we have connected with the universe, and we have spoken into what we want to bring into existence, but we haven't done anything to allow that inspiration to flow through and out of us, which means we never tapped any of the dominoes. And so there's no movement, they're just there. We have to get movement, right? And so a lot of times, in fact, what I have found to be the most powerful times for the woo-woo, for, it doesn't matter what you call it. I call it God, I call it source, you can call it universe, it doesn't matter what we call it. For that energy to come through and interact with what you are wanting to manifest in life, it's coming through a sense of inspiration, inspired action, an inspired thought, an inspiration within that's saying, take this step, look at this thing, go in that direction, try this. An inspired action that says, tap that domino right there. And other pieces can actually start falling into place because you have allowed yourself to trust and have faith in the process, as well as be an active part of it. And so we want to have goals. We want to have trust and faith. We want to bring them together and not have to live in constant action, because that will wear us out. It will burn us out. At the very least, it's going to lead us to feel resentful and unfulfilled. Right? And you can apply that to anything. We can apply it outside of business too. You can apply it to dieting. You can apply it to relationships, right? Like if it's all goal oriented and all action all of the time, it's just not sustainable, right? But we do need some action and we do need some goals, but we want to stir that up and allow it to be guided by this sense of inspired, internally fueled, purpose-driven senses that we can only get if we are willing to pause and to notice, to take a break, to be with nature, to practice some mindfulness, to engage in some meditation. It looks a little bit different for each of us. It could be to just engage with the thing that you love that allows you to experience flow, because flow is a brain state that really opens up our senses, allowing us to feel that inspiration, to connect with that inspired action, whenever that next inspired action may be. And so maybe that's baking for you. Maybe baking is something that you do that you really enjoy, and it really just opens up all of the senses for you. It has nothing to do with your business, but it allows you to engage with your creative process and take the next best step. So, all of that to say that so often we want to find the one right thing that's going to move the needle forward. And so often we look outside of ourselves to find that answer. But the answer isn't outside of us. The answer is often inside of us, and we have to be willing to engage with a sense of reflection, a sense of awareness, a sense of accountability that lets us know, what are my tendencies? Do I tend to operate more in this extreme? Do I tend to operate more in this extreme? Because if I tend to operate more in one extreme or the other, the thing I need to do is going to be different than the other person that tends to operate more in this extreme or the other. Right? So if I'm constantly in action mode, then I probably need to practice less action to allow for more inspiration to flow through. I probably need to engage with something that brings me more more of a flow state or more joy. But if I am someone that's always in this place of kind of waiting and waiting and waiting and dreaming and waiting, but never taking action, then probably I need to practice noticing if my inspiration is pulling me in a direction, and then to take that step, even if it feels scary. There's not one specific cookie cutter thing that each and every one of us can do that's going to result in the exact thing that we want. But, and that's a but that doesn't nullify anything that I've said so far, right? But, or should I say, and we need to have an ability, a willingness to practice our own internal awareness and to tap into sources, to tap into resources, people, supports around us that will help us see some of the blind spots that make it hard for us to notice, okay, maybe I am more rigid in that direction. Maybe I am more rigid in that direction in this particular area of life. We all have blind spots, right? And we are social emotional species. So we do need each other in order to live a really filled, fulfilling, purposeful life. But it's not looking at one another that's going to give us all of the answers. This is a major component of why the reset experience is set up the way that it is because as the guide, as the mentor that I am in this particular service offering, I am helping to bring forth some of the practices, some of the prompts, some of the questions, facilitating the conversations, right? Creating and cultivating the environment with which we can bring forth ourselves and all of the challenges and call out each other's blind spots. I'm the guide that does that. But no one can do the inner work for you. And when you're in a container that has this community of women that are all high-performing women, all either business owners, entrepreneurs, or leaders in your own right, all really good at their craft and excel and have goals and have drive, all building some kind of professional business while also raising a family. When we have all of that community together, we're able to support one another while also going through our own internal processes. We're able to have both. And both of those things are really important. And if you're a high achiever like me, if you are someone that has a history of overfunctioning like me, it can become very easy to think we can just do it all on our own. And honestly, sometimes we could do it on our own, but it wouldn't feel as fulfilling. It would take longer to get there. And there would be less connections made along the way that facilitate sustainable success, not just now, but plants seeds now for sustainable success, connection, creation for the future too. I have had numerous, even just in the past 6 months since I came back from my last maternity leave, I've had numerous folks from my past that I've had great connections with come back into my life and become a part of either my personal, professional, or both experiences that are helping grow things in such beautiful ways that I couldn't have even predicted it. And that's because there were times when I allowed myself to engage with people around me and receive support as well as offer support. There were times when I allowed myself to fully express my authentic self rather than holding back or playing small. And that allowed them to see who I truly am and what I'm really about, and that I'm of integrity, and me, them as well. All of this is designed to be infused within the reset group experience, which is just one of the many reasons why I'm just lit up by it. If you can't tell already, I'm so excited about it. We already have ladies joining the reset group experience. So if you are a lady that is hearing this, or you're thinking of a lady while you're listening to this, you're like, oh my gosh, this totally makes me think of her, or oh my gosh, this is totally me, I need this, then you are probably right. Come join us. See what the reset experience is all about. We're not in the super early bird phase anymore, but we are still in the early bird phase of pricing. So you still get additional valuable bonuses. You get 2 additional value bonuses right now. I'll leave the link below if you want to check it out. And if you're not a mom, this particular cohort is for working women that are managing motherhood, mission, and marriage. But if you are not a mom and yet you are a very powerhouse woman that has a big drive and you are managing your mission and your mental health as you're growing a life and a business around you, I welcome you to join the wait list, because the wait list is also growing, and the wait list is for the next reset experience, and that is for the working women cohort that don't necessarily need to be moms, okay? But this particular cohort that kicks off in the fall is for moms. I would love for you to come over, be a part of the experience, and if you have questions, just let me know. See y'all later.